Hello. Oh, we are started live. Audio's fine. Wonderful. Hello. How's everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How's your week been? Let me move this over here. Hello to Jim. Hello to Ish. Hello to John. And hello to Simon. How are you guys all doing? Good to have you. I have not perished, despite my body's best efforts. Oh dear. How's it all going tonight? Yeah. It could be better, it could be worse. Can't grumble. Fair enough. John, I go here now. Twitch is more lenient to my potty mouth. Fair. I'm not logged in on Twitch. So yeah. Any tech news, or are we gonna spiral to therapy immediately? Good question. Has there been any tech news? I don't think so. Well, I think like there's been some NVIDIA AI chip stuff. I think there's a new NVIDIA like system basically. That's a Grace and Blackwell chip. I'm sure it's ridiculous money. Seems my pie hole not now blocks some of YouTube's ads, so watching on Twitch and chatting here. Huh? Is that not a good thing? Or is the pie hole breaking YouTube? Did not help my 2k 2000 euro stock, supposed to be 2.6k. Sigh. Oh dear. Investing is a volatile game. I mean, you're not wrong, John. Hello, hello, Simon. Or Australian Simon, as opposed to British Simon. YouTube didn't complain before until now. Ah, okay, I see. Fair enough. Hello, B. How you doing? How's things? Good to have you. Yeah. I've been back to normal tech reviewing this week, as opposed to the video essay writing I was doing the couple of weeks before this. Um, yeah. Although for the life of me, I can't remember what it was I was reviewing just today. Oh, an SSD. That was it. Another one from the Chinese company. Oh, you'd be happy to hear that the BMW has a lot of small niggling issues. Has 210 horsepower if you rev it high enough, though. Fair. I mean, feel free to fill us in on some of the issues. I think I've lost £3,000 across my savings so far from US dropped stock prices. The most offensive was my pension provider, which have been going hard on US stonks. Yeah, I have been meaning to. I've had some savings in basically in cash that I've been meaning to put into probably just the S&P 500, but I'm kind of glad that I have decision paralysis and haven't, because at least I haven't lost money. Like I know the argument is I technically have because inflation, but there's a difference between the money slowly being worth less over time and actively having less of it. uh, Hello, Tammy, and Simon. It was warm today. I now know that my car's aircon needs a regas or it's leaking. Fair play. Oh, video idea might be more of a David does tech stuff thing though. I mean, hit me with it. We'll see. Um, all AC depends how well sealed it is, and how the system is. A lot of especially older systems did need somewhat regular top ups, but the newer the system, generally speaking, the better, or the more secure it tends to be. But yeah. Hello, Javan. How you doing? How's things? Um, I'm listening, so SMR stream today. Fair play. Uh, glad to have you live. Playing oldish games on a 5090 with a GTS 450, one of the fake AliExpress ones running the physics. Ah, I see. Yes. Well, I don't have any 50 series cards, and I don't know that I have much hope in getting one, but I could try. Um, and yeah, actually, one of the things that I mentioned in the Nvidia uh video essay that you'll see probably not next week, but the start of the week after. I mention about the hybrid physics video that I did 13 years ago. It was a horrible video, but there you go. My car in the garage over a week now. Horrible scraping noise coming from what seemed like the auxiliary belt turned out to be the high pressure fuel pump on the timing belt. Nice. What car do you have? Javan, first time watching the streams in 4 or 5 years. Back then, you recommended to try out Zen for virtualization, but a year later, I got a cheap 5U server and started running XCP-ng. Nice. I'm glad that I was helpful 5 years ago. um, and yeah, nice, awesome. That's going well. What hardware is in the server? I'm assuming that if it's cheap, it's probably older Xenon, Jesus, Xeon. Um, yeah, an Insignia. Ah, okay, yeah, they have. Uh, Vauxhall has been owned by three very different manufacturers over the last like 10 years. They were owned by GM, so that was dreadful, and then they were sold to PSA, Peugeot, Citroen, etc. And then they were merged into Stellantis. Yeah. Um, which is Fiat Chrysler and PSA. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. Um, and yeah, the high pressure fuel pump on a timing belt. I mean, my Audi S4 has direct injection and therefore it has a high pressure fuel pump, but it's driven off of one of the cams on bank. Which way is it? Bank the right. um, I guess it's driven off of the intake cam on the right hand bank. But yeah. Insignia is not Vauxhall, it's Opel. It's Opel in everywhere but Britain. Every car that Opel makes, Vauxhall makes in Britain. Like, it's a Vauxhall Insignia, it's a Vauxhall Corsa, it's a Vauxhall Astra, it's a Vauxhall whatever the van's called, I can never remember. Like, they are the same company. It's the same way that the Toyota Aygo, the Citroen C1, and the Peugeot 107 are all the same car with different badges. It's the same thing as the Toyota GT86 and the Subaru BRZ. They're the same car made in the same factory. Oh, there's a car alarm going off outside. Oh, actually. we doing? Ooh, 2 seconds. I'm running off of solar power, but I forgot that I was running my systems off of solar power, and I'm currently consuming 416 watts. The battery's on the low side, so I need to swap my UPS over. 2 seconds. There we go. I got an Astra, but it was made in France. I mean, that's not surprising. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know that Vauxhall does have an vehicle manufacturing facility, at least in Britain. But I don't know what cars they make there. Actually, if you want to stick with Vauxhall, the new Corsa is the exact same car as the Peugeot 206. I think, like, especially the electric one. It's a Dell T320. The seller was using it for Plex and wanted to get rid of it. Something quieter and cheaper. Sold it for £250, including 22 terabytes of storage. Holy shit, that's a good deal. Damn. I mean, I imagine what you call it, it's a little high on power consumption, but Jesus, that's that's a great deal. Like, £250 buys you one large hard drive. I don't know what the capacity of the drives are, but yeah. I think NVIDIA's cloud streaming uses some version of Zen XCPNG. Nice. And yeah, Jim, no belt snap is very lucky. As I'm sure most people are aware, modern engines are what are called interference engines. So as the valves open, they occupy the same space as the piston does at top dead center. So if the valves are left open, aka the belt snaps in an open position, with any of the valves open, the pistons come up and meet the valves and then crush them into the top of your cylinder head. And then you don't have an engine anymore. Best case, you can take the head off and, you know, put new valves in and profit. Realistically, a whole engine dead. Because you can, like, snap the pistons, you can snap the valves, or at least chip the valves and then score the cylinders to shit. If you have a turbo, goodbye turbo. Like, it's just a bad time. So yeah, belt bad. Although Peugeot or PSA in their infinite wisdom decided that some cars should have a timing belt, but the belt should also be submersed in oil. So the belt, the rubber belt, just disintegrates in the oil almost without warning. Now, apparently, because my friend has one of those cars, and yeah, I was talking to the dealership about it because they replaced the belt within warranty for free. That apparently it was only a specific batch code that do, like, very much spontaneously fail, whereas some are just more slow going. And it is like, as long as you do it at I think like 60,000 miles, you should probably be fine, which is about the same interval for a standard belt anyway. Although a timing chain is more like 100 and something thousand to life of the engine, depending. But yeah, bad idea, Persia. I've had 2 Astras, 1 Corsa. It was German and Dutch and kind of American made somewhere in Europe. This is old pre-Peugeot. So that was when they were owned by General Motors. So yeah, makes sense that they were American made somewhere in Europe. The Renault Traffic. Yes. Well, that's it, the Vivaro. There's a lot of sharing. So yeah. I'm still waiting for my parts from Volvo almost a month later. Four screws I need to fit apart to take it for an MOT. Can you not just buy the right, like, some bolts online? And Chris, I'm pretty sure you're right on that front too, on the vans. Where am I at? Simon, big news. My son, 17, has passed his driving test first time with 3 minors. Nice. I mean, 3 minors in the car must have been kind of difficult. You know, it's a lot of weight in there, and all the coal dust and stuff. But fair enough, nice. I'm joking. I know that that's the scoring system for. How many minors do you have to get for it to be a fail? I can't remember. It's been years. Went to Screwfix. They didn't have any with the same thread that were long enough, so I figured I'd order the right parts direct. I mean, fair enough. What part, like, what do you need to bolt to? 15 minors? Jesus! Oh, Christ. Da, 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 da. Yeah, wet belt. Horrible idea. Does the snapping slash head smashing happen in a Wankel engine? Funnily enough, no, because there is no cylinder head. There are no valves. A Wankel engine is kind of a two-stroke, but it's also what? It's a four-stroke engine, or is it? Well, it's a no-stroke engine because there's no stroke. It's a rotating mass, but it does still do the suck, squeeze, bang, blow, but also yeah, it's well, it's like 0.5 stroke actually, because it draws in air, combusts it, and then immediately exhausts it. So it's only half. um, unless the seals give the tips away. Yes. So if you don't know, there's the way that a Wankel engine seals are rotary engine seals. It's a little Dorito that spins round on an eccentric shaft in a cavity basically. But you have to have seals on the edges as it wipes around. And those are called apex seals, and they very, very often wear out and then stop sealing. And so it's generally advised to run like pre-mixed gas, like put oil in the gasoline as you're, filling up, so that you get lubrication along with the fuel. Um, and you don't have to be a hairdresser appointment in an appropriate car. That's the RX-7, RX-8, sorry. Yeah. I mean, the RX-8 is cool. It's got suicide doors. Like, come on. Also, I'm just a hot word for buzzwords today. Um, anyway, it runs consistently 112 watts, whether idle or not. Expensive in today's energy market, but no complaints here. I had to replace one of the drives about 18 months ago. Paid £30 for a used 3 TB one. Well, fair enough. I mean, the 112 watts is. I can't talk because I have a 24-core Threadripper sat over there. One of the reasons why my solar battery was running a little on the low side was because it draws like. Well, there is now two systems. It draws about 150 watts. Um, and then I have another system that draws another 100 watts. Um, yeah. The is 6 hard drives in one and 4 hard drives in the other. So that's actually a decent amount of the power that it's using. But also a 24-core Threadripper, even while idling, isn't that efficient. Um, yeah, yeah. Hello, yet another user. Looking better, sort of. Not really, sort of. Wankel Engine is the first thing I hear from you. What can I say? I'm full of tricks. They told me the first set arrived and then they lost them somehow before I got to the dealer, so I had to order them again. Do they have an ETA on when you'll be able to actually get them? You or someone said Maserati was not very good. Is that the same for the new ones? Yes. Because they're still, even though they're now a Stellantis product, which I think Ferrari is a Stellantis brand. Yeah, because Ferrari's owned by Fiat, which is Fiat Chrysler, which is Stellantis. So yeah, yeah. But yes, they're not amazing. No, they're not very reliable. They're not very easy to work on. They're not very good tolerance. Did yeah, yeah. And honestly, I hate what Maserati has come to stand for now with basically only SUVs. Like, I appreciate that like every manufacturer now has to make SUVs. Like even Ferrari makes an SUV. Although to be honest, I have seen one, and it's really weird because it's like an FF had went into anaphylactic shock. You know, got stung by a bee and was allergic to it and went. It's weird. Um, but like, come on, you can't make the MC12 and then make boring, like pretty naff SUVs. Like at least Rolls Royce, the whole point of being a Rolls Royce is to be as opulent and comfortable and whatever. Um, yeah. The GT or the Trofeo, I can't remember what Maserati's models are called. Maserati. Oh, that's the spec lines, isn't it? Yeah, the Levante is the horrible one. Yeah, I'd love to buy an old Mini Cooper and ram a 4-liter V8 in it. In the back? Like, if you haven't, go check out Project Binky on a roof rack. Okay, there you go. There's where you find the space for it. But seriously, if you like cars, uh, what you call it? Check out Project Binky from Bad Obsession Motorsport if you haven't already. They're amazing. They're peak British humor. I've met them on several occasions at the SMT day. Uh, they're just as like Morecambe and Wise as they seem. Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, it's an 8 drive system, a single 8 core Xeon E5 V2. Might move to something like a NAS or SAN, and several thin clients with modern CPUs as nodes. I also do something with a GPU for Jellyfin. Fair. I mean, something that I have thought about, because so a little while ago I essentially swapped my personal NAS from a QNAP, like just I think it's a TS453 mini, so 4 bay, little NAS, to I think it's like a 10400F or something. Has a GPU for acceleration. In fact, it actually has two, one for Llama and one for Plex, in theory. Although I don't know if one of them's working. Anyway, but the thing is that I already run quite a lot of stuff from my Overkill NAS, my like work NAS, the 24 core Threadripper, which also has an RX 460 as an accelerator in there. And I kind of struggle with the idea of having multiple systems running, because it's essentially just added power draw for somewhat little benefit. Like, I already virtualize a lot through Unraid, and like I already both through Docker containers and through just straight virtual machines. Like I run Home Assistant as a virtual machine, so Home Assistant OS, through like on my Overkill NAS. I run Pi-hole and a bunch of other stuff basically, all from that system, and there's still kind of room to spare basically. The main reason that I didn't just consolidate it all into one system is one, Unraid kind of makes having multiple pulls a bit weird. Like, it's fine, but I didn't want to mess with my main setup. And two, the case that it's in, which is a lovely Fantech Senthou Evolve X, that doesn't really have space for the 4 more drives that I needed to put in, so I opted to just build another system. But it would be nice to have that condensed into one, ideally in a 4U chassis with 20 drive bays or whatever, 24 drive bays or something. Yeah. All drives die. That's why I have a second. Well, no, sorry. That's why I have a third NAS at a friend's house, 150 miles away, that does nightly backups of my work NAS. So yeah, I have 2 copies, 2 locations. It's technically not 2 mediums, but yeah. And not that RAID is a backup, but they are also double redundant. It's 2 party drives basically. Although I think on the offsite there's only 1 party drive because I bought like 3 18TB hard drives. Go back a wee bit. It's a backup of a backup. Like, it's fine. RAID is for uptime, backups are for backup. You can have backup RAID and prod RAID. Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, I do actually have a backup copy of all of my important stuff, so it's more than most. In my case, it's a mix of home lab and production use that I'd like redundancy for, e.g. I host a self-host matrix and email and would like that to not go down, probably getting a failover ISP2. Damn, well, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, there are trade-offs to the what do you call it? To the different why is my brain shut down? God damn it. Setups. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now because my brain's shut down. God damn it. Oh dear. Samsung Gen 5 8TB coming out soon, puts my T705 in second place again. 4TB version out now. Fair. I actually have a Gen 5 SSD from Crucial coming. I couldn't tell you what one though. Don't remember. But it's on the way, I think. If you're on a 4080 Super, but run from the 9950 XGPU, would that slow it down in any way or make it any better? So if you plug into the motherboard video connectors, I think you are just going to use the iGPU. Unless there is a muck switch on the board, which I think someone does. I saw a YouTube short talking about it the other day. Someone does that, but I don't know who. Uh, but generally speaking, if you plug into the motherboard connectors, you're only using the CPU's iGPU, not your dedicated graphics card at all. Even if it does have a muck switch or a way to do pass through like laptops do, it's still slower and worse. Like, just plug into the graphics card. Um, yeah. Like, if it does have a muck switch, then technically speaking, for lower power, like for just running the desktop, non 3D work, then yes, using the iGPU would be more efficient. You would use less power, but I wouldn't. If in BIOS I put GPU first, it runs the 480, but from the CPU, it's odd. I mean, fair enough. As in, you're plugged into the motherboard's HDMI or DisplayPort connectors, but the system reports using the 480? What motherboard is it? But also, my point still stands, just use the GPU directly. Fair enough. John, I don't. I don't. Maybe B does. Soft reboot in T-10. I wish. A soft reboot is me going to sleep, which to be fair, my body is making that very easy. I think is the right word. I'm really tired. My guts aren't really absorbing right, I think, so I've not been sleeping well, which doesn't help. Ba, 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 ba. Did I miss anything? Timing change reminds me of my Mitsubishi Magna and the Astron 2.6 engine. Would have to do a chain and oil pump every 30 to 40k, then put brass bushings in the oil pump. What? A timing chain every 30 to 40,000? What? No! I'll so see you another user. Catch you later. And fair enough, Alex. Yeah. Javan, I think there is an crypto wallet. I think it's a Bitcoin wallet. In the descriptions of the videos, maybe. But I may or may not have access to that. I don't remember. It's been a very long time. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. To be honest, don't worry about it too much. Yeah. Uh, it is a way of me. Oh, yeah. Directly getting the funds, but also crypto is very volatile. So even if you were to send me a quid today, it might be worth 50p or it might be worth 10 quid tomorrow. Uh, who knows? There you go. I may or may not have access to that. I should probably take that out of the description. I'm really bad at like catching, like remembering to do little things. I mean, that's the whole problem with ADHD, but still. Yeah, yeah. I'd be surprised if there was any in there, but I mean, feel free to let me know if I'm missing it. And thank you, Jim. But he's saying it had a video about NVIDIA physics in the works. Did imagine that? So I have a video about NVIDIA coming up, not next week, but the week after, I think. So I'm gonna post the first video essay, I think, on Monday, because I think that tends to do better in terms of views and reach. Because everyone seems to go away in the for the weekend and not watch videos. I don't know. So you'll either see it at the end of next week, if I do post tomorrow, or the start of the following week. But it's a video about NVIDIA and history and AI and stuff, which mentions NVIDIA and physics. And the hybrid physics video I did 13 years ago. But yeah, it's not specifically about NVIDIA and physics. NVIDIA about NVIDIA. Exactly. Well, I mean, here's a fun fact. NVIDIA is called NVIDIA because of the Latin word invidia, INVIDIA. But they stripped off the leading I, and they picked that because they would name new files with the prefix NV as a new version. So they were they were trying to work out what name had the letters N and V in it, and picked the Latin word Nvidia, stripped off the leading I, and went with Nvidia. I view it. I say it as essentially hyphened N, the letter N, and then Vidia, rather than like Nvidia. That just doesn't seem right. Yeah, the emphasis on the V, and Vidia. GIF is GIF, yes. Until it's graphics interchange format, I'm sticking with GIF. RTX tie, yeah. I think I change every now and again from TI to Tine. To Tine? To tie. And then Americans like to make fun of the way that British people say router, because they say router, which I think sounds weird. That's less of a pronunciation, more of a fact, you know. I switched to router years ago. Yeah. Like you take a route. Although they say route as well. But there's no A in router. Route 66 is fine for route, but router is router, not a router. I deliberately said the one in the middle. Fair enough, Javan. That was somewhere between 4 and 5 years ago now, so I should probably remove that from the descriptions, actually. Because I may or may not even have access to it. I set myself a reminder to do it, because otherwise I will forget. And then we'll have this discussion in another 5 years' time. Yeah, sure. Okay. Dropped water. Water. Or water. Well, if you're from Glasgow, you kind of skip the T entirely and just say water. It's like WAAAHUR. War. Although it's kind of funny because like a lot of things tend to get one of the most common greetings in Britain is saying "you all right," like "are you all right?" Like "how you doing?" Right? But what's what's funny is that that gets shortened and shortened and shortened, so it goes from "you all right" to just like a single sound, right, like it's right. Like that's an entire sentence in a single sound. Talk about efficiency, right? There's maybe two letters in that. R and I, right? H instead of H. I don't know. I can never remember what the American and British pronunciations for various letters and things are meant to be. Like, because what Britain is Z, isn't it? Instead of Z. But then, like, some things don't sound right if you don't say them with Z. Like, I'd say, like, Z790. But then sometimes I don't know. Weird. Z or Z, yeah. In South Wales, we say all sort of stuff, so all sorts of stuff that only makes sense to us. I mean, Scotland is the same. Um, uh, CB. Oxford says H standard, but H is common and increasingly less prescribed. I can't read. My American partner hates that I say H. Fair. I think I would say H instead of the forced H at the start, despite technically that being the letter. There's one at the end. It's fine. In fact, even as Valley boys need to think hard about what's being said sometimes. It's kind of funny when I go back up to Scotland. Fairly rarely, I must add, but I do, and then you got to like retrain your brain to hear what it is they're saying. Still, the worst one is Linus with not saying vague and plague properly. Don't know how to write it down, but it's annoying. I can't say that I know what his pronunciation is like, but it's vague and plague. Aluminium, not aluminum. You can't just take a letter out of a metal because you don't like it. Like vag and plague. Ooh. Ooh, no. Ooh. Ooh. Oh no. Like, there's some things that's just a dialect, and then there's some things that are just actively wrong. That's one of the wrong ones. I can't stand my Yorkshire accent on video. It doesn't sound like I talk like that in my head. I mean, I know that like what you hear in your head and what comes out your mouth can be quite different. I know because I record myself talking at least twice a week. And I have to listen to it over and over and over again while I'm editing the video. Aye. IUPAC Chemistry Standards Body says aluminium, British, but sulfur, American, are the correct spellings. Massive pet peeve of mine that is mixed like that. Oh no. I mean, it's funny because like when I work on cars somewhat regularly in the sort of car channel here, and it's kind of funny things that are done in like exhausts are basically all done in inches. Like is a 2 inch exhaust, it's 2.5 inch, it's a 3 inch if it's a big boy, whatever, right? But the bolts that hold it on are all, metric like M12 heads, like M8 by 1.25 mil thread. Like there's a funny discrepancy, and as a Briton, I do think in miles, but if it's a short distance, I think in meters. If it's a really short distance, then I sometimes think in inches and sometimes think in centimeters or millimeters. If it's really really small, then it's millimeters or micrometers or nanometers or I mean anything smaller than a nanometer, and we don't need to talk about it. But yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, the measurements for fuel. I mean, even just measurements for liquid in general. So we measure the fuel in liters, but miles per gallon for consumption. Like, but isn't a gallon in Britain isn't the same as a US gallon? Which one of them is exactly 4 liters, and which one of them isn't? And then, like, if you go into shops to buy milk, you probably buy a number of pints of milk. If you buy a drink at the bar, it's in pints. Like a beer or like lemonade, whatever. It's in pints. But then if you buy anything else, liquid, it's in liters. UK imperial volumes are 20% larger than the US ones of the same name. US is 3.78 and it's like 4.5 something in the UK. Well, that's even worse. I thought one of them was at least exactly 4. I thought, yeah, so a UK imperial gallon is 4.54609 liters. And a US gallon is 3.7854. What's wrong with all of us? Actually, it's just use like liters instead. Like, a gallon is 4 quarts. But what's a quart? Who knows? Nobody. You don't buy a quart of lager. Oh, dearie me. I couldn't tell you how. Oh, they do fluid ounces, don't they? If they, oh, God. Does a pint divide equally to a gallon? I don't know. How? 8. No. 8 US liquid gallons to 8 US liquid pints. That's US. UK. Oh, no, no. A pint is different to the UK. So, yeah. Okay, we got there. Yeah. 1 imperial gallon is what 8 imperial pints. 1 quart is 2 pints. Aye. But it took me a while to realise that the statement of UK imperial volumes are 20% larger than the US ones for the same name. meant that also applied to pints, something that I'm a lot more familiar with. So that's funny. If you order a US pint, you'd get less. Funny when I hear GNC talk about microns. Took me a while to figure out they're talking about micrometers. Well, so that's the thing. There is actually microns is an imperial measurement. Like microns is some fraction, like millionths of an inch or thousandth of an inch, whatever. Whereas people refer to micrometers as microns, but microns is actually its own measurement. I've been tricked by this before. So I do 1 gallon a night when I'm at the pub. There you go. So fuck me. Oh dear. Points and picas. I've not heard of that one. Yeah. Measurement systems are so stupid because the metric system is just empirically better in every way. Oh, thou. Aye, I know that one. Oh, it's 20 thou too thick. What do you mean? A thousandth of an inch? What is that? Because I watch a lot of like machinists and like engine builders and stuff. And a lot of them are American, so they'll say we took 20 thou off the head. Like, what does that mean? Oh, 1/96th of an inch. Christ! Start with the fractions. Just do points. Ugh. Base 10 is way easier for us to think about. No, I'm 98% sure that micron is actually an imperial measurement. Because I've looked it up before. Because actually no, Easy EDA Software Designer has millimeters and microns as the option. Where is it? For their unit sizing. System settings. No. Let me move to that one. I might have a chance of actually seeing design rules. Yeah, so there's millimeters and microns for the design rules. Mine are all in millimeters, of course, because I'm sensible. But I think one of them also changed, but I can't remember. But yeah, so you definitely can. It is definitely a different measurement. Micron makes Rambo pretty head straight. Yeah. Thousandth of an inch is not actually an inch split into a thousandth. It's madness. I know it's ridiculous. So ridiculous it messed my hair up. Sounds like retcon, but still. I mean, fair enough, but wait, hold on. There it is. So it's at least in the maybe microns is the wrong word because it's mil and millimeters in Easy EDA. Like it's MIL for the American one and millimeters for the rest of the world. So maybe I'm mistaking microns for mils. Because mils is shorthand for millimeters. Like, oh, that's 20 mil off. Like, that's 20 millimeters off. 2 centimeters. Well, it's just testing it for you. I ram, you ram, he rams, she rams. Mil equals thou, apparently. What the? Why? Why did they do this? Fair. There. Oh dear. Well, to bring some semblance of sanity back, tomorrow or Monday, depending on which one I decide, this video is a video essay about Intel and AMD and sort of Intel and AMD's history together, their somewhat their rivalry, and how AMD could block the sale of Intel to Broadcom. Although the joys of the tech world, the rumors that Broadcom and TSMC may or may not be buying Intel came and went before I could even get the video out. So, but yes, please very much do watch it either tomorrow or Monday, depending on whenever it comes out. And like give it a like, comment, all this sort of stuff, because that will help quite a lot. And I put a whole like straight week's worth of effort into it. Like the writing, the filming, the editing, all of it is like, I don't know, 50 hours, 60 hours total worth of work. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that it is enjoyable. It's also the first one, so I'm bound to have done something wrong. So feel free to let me know what like is up. See Sam, it's a very measurable stream this week. Thanks. But yeah, feel free to let me know what I can improve on next week's stream. But yeah. Also, we're not quite at time yet. I'm just setting boundaries, setting expectations. If you put that much work into it, then release it on the day that works best for the algorithm. Yeah, I think Monday is better because generally speaking, the videos that go out on Friday tend to get smothered by the weekend, whereas videos that go out on Monday tend to do a bit better. So yeah, I think I'll wait until I think I will wait until Monday, post it then, and then post the video one the following Monday. Yeah, and then resume normal videos for the time being, the Monday after that. So each video will have a week exclusive. I'll remove the Bitcoin link in 5 minutes ish. But yeah, my mum, born in '64, doesn't remember shillings at all somehow. I mean, this is probably one of the things that like on a citizenship test you would be asked, but as you know, natural born Briton, I couldn't tell you for the life of me. I don't know when we switched. I know that it was later than I would like to believe, but yeah. (1971). Well, to be fair, that's like well under 10. So like I'm not that surprised. Like you generally don't start actually like handling money much until you're, you know, with any sort of regularity, whatever, until your teens, until you're in your teens, kind of thing. I mean, I guess you know save your pennies up for the sweets at the shop, whatever. I don't know, but I feel like your understanding of money would potentially start from a little later than like I can't do maths in my head. 7. Um, grandparents. Yeah. I just remember my grandparents saying it was bad to change. Well, fair enough. Apparently, Shiggy. There you go, bad. Shillings were legal tender until the end of 1990. Well, the phrase legal tender is something that I'm very well familiar with as a Scot. Because of the Bank of Scotland notes. Yeah, the shingles were. um, yeah, I'm not that surprised. Uh, Although, interestingly, the phrase legal tender is doesn't necessarily mean that shops have to accept it. It's that um the like the government has to accept it, and maybe the bank. Can't remember. So basically, what that means is that you could go to the bank or whatever and give them your shillings, and they would give you essentially the equivalent in pounds and pence. But that doesn't necessarily mean that shops would accept it. Wait, where's there it is. Exactly. Legal tender here means payment of it to settle a court enforced debt can't be refused. There you go. Up until whenever they were sold off, probably. Um, but yeah, it doesn't mean what most people think it means, which is that a store must accept it as valid payment. In the same way that like stores don't have to accept your debit and credit card, and they can force you to pay in cash for the product or service, as an example, or force you to not pay in cash and only pay by card. Don't take Amex, whatever, that sort of stuff. It's all up to you. Whatever. So you just save up your Scottish funny money for traffic fines. Well, fun fact: overtaking is much more sort of socially acceptable in Scotland. Like if you're stuck behind a car, you just overtake them. Like it's no big deal. Like it's not as like insulting as it is often seen in England. And also like it's a lot quieter. So if there is somebody poodling along, the country roads, like you just go past them. Like, it's fine. Um, but. Scottish £1 notes are very commonly used as dance floor money. Think throwing dollar bills at a stripper, but instead throwing pound notes at the bride and groom at Indian weddings. Interesting. You mean they don't speed up and don't let you past? Correct. They just don't give a shit. They just carry on with your day. You want to go faster? Cool. That's what the other side of the road's for. If there's nobody coming, you don't get in a crash. Who cares? On your way. God damn it. Oh dear. The road's wide enough for overtaking up there. Yes, they are. And also, a lot of them are much more open than you think. You're driving through valleys and stuff, like carved into the side of a valley. So you've got like, what you call it? Generally pretty good views to see what's coming and what's not. Fuck. Oh dear. And with that very creaky chair, an utterly classy joke, I think we'll leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. These are every Thursday night at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you want to pop back next week, feel free. Hello, Luca. Goodbye, Luca. And yeah, thank you all for hanging out. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. Bye.